Hey there guys, I just want to look at this chart. I like a chart because it helps me organize data. There's three kinds of, or forms I should say, for parabolas that we're looking at. And so this helps me organize it, and I'm hoping maybe it will help you as well. Because in all three forms, standard, vertex, and intercept, we have to find the same pieces of information because the fact that it's a parabola doesn't change. And so when you have a parabola, sorry, I keep scooching this around. I'm just looking to see what I've got going on here. When you have a parabola, you have a variety of features. And so you might have something that comes like this, and you want to know, hey, where does it hit the y-axis? Where does it hit the x-axis? Where is the vertex? How wide is it? All that stuff. So first of all, let's take a look at standard form, and remember that standard form is ax squared and then plus or minus something bx plus or minus c. Keep in mind that for all of these, the vertex is written as a coordinate pair where you have the y and the x coordinates of the vertex. You will have the vertex as a max, meaning a high point, if you have a parabola that's opening downward, and that will happen when your a value is less than 0, so negative. When your parabola opens upward, then the vertex is going to be at the bottom, making it a minimum, and that happens when your a is positive. And so just by looking at the a value, you can decide if it's going to open up or down, and once you know if it's going to open up or down, you can determine if your vertex is a max or min. That is true for all three forms. Okay, so in standard form, the way that I'm going to find the x part of my vertex, I'm going to take the opposite of b over to a. So in this first spot, that is going to be just the opposite of b over 2a. Then to find the y spot, like the actual y coordinate of my vertex in that form, I'm simply going to take what I just got for x and plug that into the equation. So plug in the x that you just got over here. Plug it into the original equation, it will kick out your y value. Axis or line of symmetry is the one that comes vertically down through the middle. So because it is a vertical line, remember to write it as x equals a number. And it doesn't matter how you find the vertex in each kind of form, you're going to find it a different way. But once you have found that, your vertical line of symmetry or axis of symmetry is going to be x equals, and then this, the x part of the vertex. So however you found that, you're going to just take that number and put it in here, writing it as a vertical line equation, x equals, and then whatever that x part of your vertex was. The y-intercept is where it's crossing the y-axis. Keep in mind that anything on the y-axis had to have 0 for an x because it didn't go left or right off of that axis. So when you go to write your answers, your answer for this has to be a vertical line equation, and your answer for this should be a coordinate pair where the x is 0. So ultimately, you're going to plug in x equals 0. That is true for this form, and this form. But in standard form, it's actually pretty easy because if you look at the standard form up here, if you were to put a 0 in for these x's, it would wipe out the a and b part, leaving you with just c. So in this particular part, you can just label it, or you just know that it's going to be at 0c because that happens every time. Not true with vertex and intercept form. You have to actually plug the 0 in and figure out what the answer is, but in this particular problem, it'll be that c value. X-intercepts is something we are not going to focus on until kind of later in the chapter. X-intercepts is where the graph crosses that x-axis. So it could, like in this particular picture I drew, it has two solutions or two x-intercepts. Sometimes it'll have one, sometimes it'll have none. And the ways we're going to find that will be to factor, use square root, and the quadratic formula. But we aren't doing that right this very second. And so I'm going to leave that go for now. So there's a lot of things to remember, but it's very kind of systematic. Since standard is the only one we have looked at so far, I'm going to go ahead and quit there. But I'm going to come back to this and fill it in as we learn vertex and intercept form as well. Have a good day, guys.